listening to Unpause Your Life with Dr. Cali Estes and Master Coach Jenny Fontana, founders of the Life Coach Method. Each one of our uplifting and deep dive episodes is geared to help you tackle the things that hold you back from having the most magnificent life you deserve. Sit back, relax, and prepare to be coached.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to another amazing episode of Unpause Your Life. My guest today is Betty Campagna. She is a trauma coach, among other things, and a faculty at the Addictions Academy. I'd like to welcome her to the show.
Hi, Kelly. I'm so excited to be here. Hi, everybody. I'm Betty Campagna, and I'm with the Addictions Academy, and I also have my own private coaching, which is Elite Coaching. And I just published some recovery journals, so I'm really excited to tell you guys about that today, too.
So tell us a little bit about you, how you got into this space, the work you do, and of course about that recovery journal, because that's going to be very needed in this space.
Okay. Well, I first got interested, I guess, I'll say my first passion and just, I guess, need would be in recovery field was growing up in a family of addiction. My mom was an alcoholic and drug addict, and I had several family members. And my mom kind of went in and out of phases. There was times when she was amazing, and then there were times when, she was in her addiction, and so that was my first love. And of course, as a young kid, I hated it. Right? I hated it. I was the kid that would leave the drug pamphlets out, and just try and fix everything. I tried to be, I was the hero, tried to be perfect, make everybody look at me, take care of my little brothers so that they didn't focus on seeing the mess that we had, and I said I would never do drugs, I would never drink. And, as a teenager, I tried and I dabbled, but I think it was like in my early 20s when I had gotten into an accident. I got thrown out of a truck and ran over, and they said I was never going to walk again. I told my mom I was going to, the first 3 days that I was probably going to die because of internal bleeding. And I think at that time, that's when I just really took it was tough, a turn for trying to learn how to walk again. I had a little 1-year-old boy. So it was really just very frightening. I wake up and I have nightmares, and they prescribe me stuff for anxiety, and I didn't want to take that. Then I started drinking a little bit, and what I found was kind of everything that I had hated and was afraid of, I could become numb. And, that went on periodically, not anything crazy. And then I just made a decision that, and there's more to the story when we have more time, that this is not the lifestyle I want. You know what I mean? I want something different. I want something more. And I became passionate about, I got into recovery. It was awesome. I got to be able to go to a place where I could take my, I had 2 little boys at this time. So I had my first son and then Christian, and they told me I would never have kids again after this accident. So the blessing is I got to have my second little one, Cody. And I found a place where I could go, and it's really, there's a whole lot that goes with it, but it was a women and children's place. So it was awesome. And what I found there was, I got to work on all this trauma and do all this work on myself. Like, it was just, it was crazy. And I remember sitting in a group, and they said, only one person out of 100 is going to make it. And I was like, no way. That's me. I'm going to make it no matter what. And I've been clean and sober for 25 years, by the grace of God. But I made that decision that day with God. Like, I want something different. I never want my kids to ever have to see that. I want to break the cycle, because people said, you can't break that cycle. I have bikers. I had, all kinds of, riffraff and chaos in my life. Every family event I was scared to death that something was going to happen. Something was happening. That's just the way it was.
Back us up to the story a second. Hold up. You're missing like some key parts that everybody just went, wait a minute, what? You have bikers? Where did the bikers come from?
My stepdad, my uncles, my mom, my brothers, dad. Lots of bikers. It was funny. So when I was in recovery, they gave me one of the coins that said, live or die or something. It was a biker one. They're like, we just didn't think, Betty, that you would be able to make it coming in here. It was hilarious. So my stepdad comes, he's got a beard, ZZ Top beard, right? He comes in and he wants to see the kids, right? Of course, it's family day. Well, he's a total functional alcoholic. So he can drink and he's fine. He drinks a beer. He's mowing the lawn. He comes in there and he's got beer on his breath. And they said, you can't come here. You can't visit. And he's like, what are you talking about? And they said, well, you've been drinking alcohol. I said, so what? I'm not in here for anything. I want to see my grandkids. So just breaking that cycle,
Yeah.
But man, it was just such a blessing. What I really learned is all these things, that I had grown up through. I mean, craziness. Like my grandfather was an alcoholic. Working on all that trauma of being a child, and working that out and knowing that it wasn't even about the drugs or alcohol. That was just a coping mechanism, and really getting, into mind, spirit, body. And you know what? It was so crazy, Callie, because God showed his favor in this whole thing. Like there's no reason I should have been. I was WIC, woman in charge. There were ladies in there that were getting ready to go to prison, and I'm like, that's not me. I want something different. And God showed me so much favor. They usually didn't place your kids there with you for 30 days. Mine were there in 4 days. So, I mean, God just showed me this favor. And for me, that's what it is. And I believe anything, whatever can get you clean and sober, whatever you can look up to, anything can work. It can be, like you said, yoga. It could be church, it could be a women's group, it could be anything. But for me, it's God, and there's so many things. Like I said, there's no reason after that accident that I should even be walking, but God has a big purpose for me. So anyway, that kind of started my journey really I went back to school, and that's what I wanted to do. And I ran that program, and I went on to run multiple programs, and I moved to North Carolina about 15 years ago, started my own private practice, and this is home for me. So I love it being here. I was out in California before that, and God has just continued to move in my life and do big things, and continues to do big things. So, and it brought me to the Addictions Academy and to writing. To one of the things too, like with my journal, I thought about it. This is certainly something that it had to be like from God. And if every day has a scripture, and I thought, if I could have had this when I was back in recovery, to just share my thoughts and be able to write down and share what I was going through, how much it would have just helped me. And so I just believe that, I want to help people and whatever God wants me to do.
So you said you had a couple things in there. So I remember when I started my career, one of my first jobs was working with women and children in recovery. And I remember it was a nonprofit. So we had the top floor had all the bedrooms. So the women and their children, they could have up to 4 kids. And then our offices were smack in the middle. And we had no AC. It was the middle of summer. I had a skylight like beaming down on me. And I remember thinking to myself, this fucking sucks. Like, this is what I'm getting into.
Yeah.
And I remember I was like, I would come to work, and the women had, they had welfare and Section 8, and they had health benefits and all this. And I'm like, I can't pay my car payment, my student loan, and my rent in the same month, let alone eat. Like, I remember thinking to myself, this is like crazy. But some of the stories were so, downtrodden. There was women getting ready to go to prison. There were women in prison. I had one client that had 8 children, custody of none. And she's pregnant with the 9th kid. And I'm like, you got to make a change. So at that level, like, that's where the real work happens, when you're doing that kind of work. So you were in a program that literally changed your life. And from there, you've had all these different events, like, leading to where you are. And it all started from an accident, which is so interesting to me, because it's not like, you came from a normal family, you're bored, you tried drugs and became a drug addict. You actually had a major life-altering event where they said, you may not live, you beat that. You may not walk again, you beat that. And then you're like, okay, well, now I have night terrors, and you started drinking, and then you beat alcoholism. So It's like everything that got thrown in your path, you were able to overcome, which is awesome. So I got to give you kudos for that. And then come out the other side and go, now I want to help people get where I am, which is awesome. And I think a lot of this work that we do really, if we've lived it, changes the game. So I really want to hear about this journal. Like, where did it come from? Where did the idea come from? Who's it for? All that kind of stuff.
Okay, I don't know well, I'm pretty sure you know this, but I don't know if the public knows this. I lost my grandma and I lost my mom last year, and it was both very traumatic. And that's a whole nother gamut of story. But I really took my grief and I took into writing this journal because I journaled a lot for myself. And it really just writing it helped me. And so in this journal, I'll show you, I wrote one for the women and one for men. And it's like so beautiful. Even the font on this is great vibes, designed for women. And I have, like, I remember being early in recovery and not knowing what the heck way I felt. So it's got a feeling wheel. And then every day has, it's got a scripture on the top, and then it has goals for the day. And this was really cool because also I told you I have a whole family of addicts and alcoholics. My aunt's been sober for a little over a year. And when I was writing this, she was telling me this story that, you know, it has to be a month, it has to be a week, it's got these big mile markers. And I said, that's not true. Every day is so, and this time we lost my grandma. So she's having such a, even probably harder than most people because she's losing her mom and being there, you know, trying to take care of her while this is happening. And she's sober in it and doesn't pick up. And so on one of in the little box, it says, I have been clean and sober for, and it could be days, it can be hours. And that's such I could use it. You could use it. Someone one day, 1 hour, somebody could be, you know, use it and it would work. It would help them. Goals for the day, gratitude list. And that's huge. If you just get, for me, even going through the grief, that was really tough. Stepping into gratitude for every single thing. God, I'm so grateful to wake up this morning. You know what I mean? To be able to have a bed to sleep in, to look outside and see the birds. And, you know, I have all this amazing family. I'm clean. I'm doing it. I wait, you know, it doesn't matter. Every single day I make the choice and to see how I'm going to embrace this day. Am I going to be sad, mad, whatever, angry? Am I just going to be embrace it in gratitude, you know? And it's gratitude. And just sometimes just actually writing that out it helps. And then I have on here, then there's the feelings, challenges, because we have those, right? And then the reflection at the end. And it's so simple, but it's so powerful. And I did one for men and I did one for women. And this is a little bit more, it's 90 days, started with 30 days. And I was like, that's not enough. So there's the feeling wheel in that for the men's journal. But I'm super excited. And that's just, you know, now I'm getting people saying, well, what about not for just a journal for not for recovery? Okay. So that's what I'm working on now. And so I'm super excited and passionate about this. I'm working on some more. And also I have, I'm working on some curriculum and creating a program that not just has, you can meet with me actually, but it also has videos and modules that go with it. So that's something, as well as being a trainer, you know, at the Addictions Academy. And I love that. And I want to share this about this because it's so big to me. I said back in, you know, 25 years ago when I was, you know, just in residential treatment, I learned about trauma. And I continue to learn here and there, you know, you learn and you grow. But it was mind changing because to become train the trainer, right? You have to take the certification and do the course yourself. And I always say, I'm not going to give anybody anything that I wouldn't do myself. And the trauma timeline, oh my gosh, it's like, it's the biggest thing, right? You go from start to where you are now. Holy smokes. I mean, if that doesn't help somebody and just seeing, you know, because some people, oh, that's not trauma. It affects everybody different, right? And I'm telling you what, Cali, I love teaching it. It's magical. It works. I mean, you can use it for trauma. You can use it for addiction. You can use it for life, but it works. And it's a real tool. I mean, it's like, if you want to do this, you have to do the work, you know, and it's like, you have to keep going back, you know, and you know, I've been in counseling for years too. And now I'm coaching. I love coaching, but you know, it's not like continuing to go back. It's like, okay, let's look at this and where do you want to go? It's such an amazing tool. So I love that. And you've created that, and it's a monumental, you know, and that's just one of the things, you guys. I'm not going to be a spoiler and tell you all the things, but there's so much with this trauma coach course. So I don't know. I'm excited.
It's much needed. I was noticing we have all these recovery coaching courses, we have all these family coaching courses, but nobody's talking about the why, right? So it's great to say, okay, I'm here, I'm in the present, here's where I want to be in the future, which makes sense, and have accountability and all that kind of stuff. But we don't talk about the why. Like, why did we get here in the first place? What caused those issues? Is it social trauma, emotional trauma? Is it physical trauma? What does that look like? And then once we're here, how do we unravel it? How do we get out of it? So it's identification and then removal of that trauma to move to the next step. So I think it's great that you're teaching it. I don't teach it anymore, so I've handed the hat off to you. So it is your class. So as people come in, I want them to register with you and you take it over, because I think it's a game changer. It's really well needed in many industries, not just addiction, but mental health. Corporations can use it. Anybody that wants to become the best version of themselves or get to the next level, that is key to, understanding trauma and taking a class like this and getting certified in it.
Absolutely. And hands down, it's the top of the line education. It really is. It's like, when you're teaching something and you're doing something, and I'm so excited because I know that it works. I've used it. Oh my gosh. And to see like having a class and people are, man, aligned hearts and breaking down and learning in these aha moments. And oh my gosh, like, wow, do you see how this can work? It's awesome. So it makes me, I'm passionate about it. I love it. And you guys, I'm teaching again, registered at the Addictions Academy on June 19th and 20th. That's my trauma class. And I also teach recovery coaching, which is amazing. If you want to be your own boss, we have all the tools, all the experience, the knowledge, everything you need to get that there. And also the one I'm really excited about is the nutritional recovery coach. And so if you're in recovery coaching, and for me, this is really big too. I changed not just my drinking, whatever, addictions, pills, anything, right? It's about eating. It's about eating healthy. And when you're clean and sober, you're feeling bad. And, maybe I can eat a sweet potato or oatmeal, and that's going to help lift my dopamine and serotonin. And it's amazing. And you get all that stuff. So, and there's so many multitude of classes and certifications that you can take. Get on the website. What is it? I'm thinking over 140, but it's probably more than that we have.
The classes?
Yeah.
We have 45 different classes and certifications that you can take and choose from, depending on what you want to build. A lot of people end up doing the IMAC, which is the International Master Addictions Coach, because it's the 10 different courses. And then that gives them enough play to be cross-continental as well. So we see a lot of that. But yeah, it's been a very interesting journey. I've got a narcissist coach coming out, which is on deck. And I've got a ADHD coach coming out. Because those are the ones everyone's asking for. They're like, well, how do you coach if someone has ADHD? And I'm getting a lot of clients that have it that are coming to me. And I'm like, well, it's not necessarily a problem. You have to learn how to use it to your advantage. Anything you're given, if you learn how to use to your advantage, becomes a strength. And a lot of people don't see that. You did that. You had a car accident and you went, okay, I want to walk. I'm going to use that to my advantage. And now I'm drinking. What can I do? And I come from a long line of alcoholics and drug addicts. What can I do? And you used everything that was thrown against you to your advantage. And every door that opened, you walked through and went, this is my door. And that's cool. That's what people don't do. When a therapist says 1 in 100 are going to make it, you went, that's me. I'm that one. You didn't even think about it. You said, I'm going to do it. Those other 99 people went, well, I wonder who that one is. Or they went, well, I can't do that. That's too hard. And they backed out. And you just took it like, that's it. I'm that one. And there was no discussion. And that's what people don't do, I think, a lot. So teaching this work and being in this, industry, and I commend you for this, because it's hard. We are pushing clients uphill all the time. Mm-hmm. And they want to create an avalanche and run back down, and we're pushing them up the hill going, you got this, you got this, you've got this. And eventually they go, I've got it. And you go, shh. Oh, thank God, I'm doing the heavy lifting. Yes. And I saw a meme the other day that was funny, and it was a therapist, and she's sitting here, and she's eating an orange, and it says client, and the client's trying to light the candle with a match, but she doesn't have anything to light it with, so she's doing it on her hand, and it's not working, and the therapist looks at her and hands her a lighter, and And she's all excited. So she uses the lighter and she lights the candle, and then she holds the lighter in front of her face and blows the lighter out. And then, or I'm sorry, she lights the match with the lighter. She has the match, she lights the candle, she holds the match, and she blows the match out and the candle at the same time. And the therapist just looks at her, and she's like clueless, like what just happened? And I'm like, that is our work to a T. We get them to a point, and then they revert back to where they started. It's like, so I got to commend you for doing this for so long, because it's such needed work.
Well, thank you. I'm excited to be here. And again, you guys look up the Addictions Academy, and also you can get my journals, my classes, any coaching on my links. Do you want me to give you that link?
We're going to put everything in the show notes. So
okay,
they're going to be able to click your link for the journal, click your link for the course. They'll be able to access you completely for anything that they need. And you can get in touch with them directly. If you want to give your link online, that would be great too. If you want to tell them where to find it or where to find you, that'd be fine as well.
Okay. So I'm at elitecoaching.coach. And you can contact me there. I have all my journals, my classes, trainings, and again, Addictions Academy for anything you need. And if I can't do it, Kelly can, or we have a team that can. We're here to help the multitude. So thank you so much for letting me be here.
And thank you for coming on, everybody. This is Betty Campagna. She is a trainer of trainers at the Addictions Academy. She's got recovery journals, and she is at elitecoaching.coach. Again, this is Unpause Your Life. You have been listening with Dr. Cali Estes.
Thank you for listening to Unpause Your Life with Dr. Cali Estes and Master Coach Jenny Fontana. Head over to www.thelifecoachmethod.com to learn more about coaching yourself and how to become a master coach.